So here we are. It's Monday night. It's just gone 9 p.m. and it's the first. Is it the first Monday of March? It's got to be because it's time for the March Acts on This TV Open Mic Q&A. This is the first Motivation and Mind Hacks broadcast of the month, which means it's an open Q&A. Now, I did February's really late, so we actually had one of these just 2 weeks ago because I completely forgot to do it at the start of February. So apologies about that, but I like doing these because there's just loads to talk about. It's not like a regular broadcast where I'll normally talk on a specific topic. Everyone can chip in. If you're watching on Facebook, give us some, some of your questions. Twitter, give us some of your questions. We'll just chew the fat. Lucy, good evening. Corey, I've already said hello to. Great to see you here. Jamie Beggs just joined as well. Good to see you, Jamie. Thanks for being here. Lowry's here as well. She says she's in overwhelm as well. Yeah, sometimes, honestly, it was a bit weird. I was filming the vlog today, so you all know I do a weekly vlog by now. I'm sure you do. I'm going to put this up for you guys as well because I'm still going to give away £150 or a free Spotlight subscription if you're an actor to someone who subscribes to my vlog this month. Ultimately, in April, I'm going to do a draw. All you need to do is go over to youtube.com/watchross, subscribe, turn your notifications on, and then every comment you leave on an episode of the vlog is an entry into that prize draw. I'm going to draw someone completely at random, and you are going to win £150 or a Spotlight subscription, whichever is going to be more useful to you. And maybe if the Spotlight subscription is only £144, maybe you just want the 150 quid cash anyway. Mark Morell, how you doing? He's here. Mark's been funny. He's been in the papers recently because he looks a bit like Jason Manford. Was on an episode of Coronation Street as a copper, and everybody started saying, is that Jason Manford? So he's had quite a few articles written up about him this week, saying he was Jason Manford. Jason Manford looked like he was getting a bit offended, Mark. I would say, Jason, come on, start. Don't be like that. All publicity is good publicity, and you're better looking than Jason Manford. I think that's why he was just annoyed. Alexandra says, "What have you already paid? Just get 150 quid cash." Alexandra, my man Richard Hale has just joined from Miami. Sorry for missing your comments on Periscope. I'm looking at bloody Facebook. Sorry about that. Keep them coming through. So yeah, open mic Q&A. Anything goes. I've got a few topics to talk about tonight. Something very exciting and interesting happened last night. You'll all know, it's probably the last time I mention it, but you'll all know I've been banging on for months and months about a friend of mine who basically created a short film and went against all the advice other people were trying to give her about not raising money through Indiegogo, not trying to ultimately just kind of try and achieve anything with this film. There was a lot of naysayers going, it won't work, it didn't work for me, blah, 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 blah. Pushed her through all that, ultimately, sometimes it was quite hard. Get through all the self-doubt and stuff. Went off, she raised the money, shot the film. This happened last night, check it out. So there you go, that's pretty cool, isn't it? There's a story, all's well that ends well, basically. So it just shows you what you can do if you actually don't listen to the people who, ultimately they're trying to protect you, aren't they? They're only saying nice things, and trying to protect you and saying, oh, maybe you don't want to do that because of this, and I tried it didn't work. Worked pretty damn well for Rachel ultimately. Now she's, effectively 1 billion people saw that film last night, saw the awards, and God knows what doors that's going to open up for her. Some incredible ones, I would imagine. So hopefully, Rachel, if you're watching, pass the lift back down to all us lot, and we'll be up there soon as well. So that's the first thing I wanted to, just wanted to put out there. Bit of a feel-good story, innit? What have other people got? I've got a list of things I want to talk about, but it's not all about me. Give me some questions. Anything that you want to talk about tonight. Anything to do with acting, voiceover, online business. Online business is a big one at the moment. My vlog last week was all about online business and how that really changed my acting career in terms of getting me out of that shitty 9-to-5 job that I hated. I'm big on online business now. I run 3 online businesses. I've got literally just about to launch another one. You see this t-shirt I've got on now is a clothing brand of mine and business partners called Master and Monocle. And the social media platforms have gone live today. Very little on them, but if you want to support us, get yourself over on Twitter to master_monocle. Same on Instagram, master_monocle. And Facebook's a little bit different because they don't let you have underscores on Facebook, so it's facebook.com/master and monocle with the word and, A-N-D. You go and like those pages. You can go and start interacting with us, follow us. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on there over the next couple of months, but that happened today. Caroline won £8.70 on the lottery on the weekend. That's something to be happy about. You've got to be in it to win it as well, Caroline. Someone won 150 odd million, didn't they, the week before as well? Alison Saxon's here, all right, Alison on Facebook. Tim Paley's here as well. Bobby says, myself and Stephen just made steps to start producing a feature film. Amazing, Bobby. Bobby did a film called Aaron. I think you can watch it on YouTube now, can't you, Bobby? You can whack a link in the Facebook comments there if you want. People go over there and watch it. And Alex says she's filming a project with people with ITV in Bradford tomorrow. Amazing. Petch has joined online. Petch, how you doing? Just telling people about the vlog today, Petch. And telling people about the... Petch is my videographer. He's just joined us. He's the guy responsible for all of the shots, ultimately. Whenever you see a good shot, which generally all of them on Watch Ross, that's because Petch is responsible. Steve Goodwayne's here as well. All right. So, yeah, get your questions in. Anything, like I say, online business is a big one. We've had a lot of response to that vlog that went out last week. People saying, I want to set up a side hustle, for this and this. And I think setting up a business around this would get me out of my shitty 9 till 5 so I could, I could focus on my acting career more. I could focus on doing some like voiceover or, expanding, doing different things. Maybe you want to write and create a film. Lowry's writing a book. Amazing. Wendy wants to know how your hand is, Petch. Petch had an operation in his hand. He had to film left-handed last week. Let us know how your hand is. I think it's better. Although we were all low energy today. It was weird. Is it us, right? Me, Petch, and Sean today, whilst filming the vlog, were all very aware that our energy was very low today. We were trying to bring it up, and we thought, oh, coffee will sort it out, a cake will sort it out. Nothing sorted it out. And then I bumped into a friend of mine I've not seen in a while, and he said he had last Tuesday to Friday off work because he felt down and a bit exhausted. Is there something in the air? Let us know if you've just been feeling a bit shit this week and how you get out of your slumps. Patrick's here, says, just finished watching your vlog. Cheers, Patrick. Great stuff, he said. Appreciate that. Jenna Goodwin, good evening. Do you think Stage 32 is any good, and what's it good for? Stage 32, as far as I know, is... I've not heard much of it recently, Jenna. It's a casting platform, isn't it? Stage 32. Isn't it more American, though, than the UK? Tony Rossi on here is from Chicago, might be able to pitch in with that. I don't know enough about it. I'm sure they post castings and they might have industry news on there as well. It's been a long time since I've checked out Stage 32. Didn't even really know that much was going on with it these days, to be honest. So I'm probably not the man to ask. But let us know what your thoughts are if you've used it, guys. Let Jenna know. Steve says, I had a very bad day yesterday. Best way is to keep yourself to yourself and just ride it out. Well, we were all about talking it through today when we were talking about our energy levels. We're going, what's going on? What is it? We always felt better about talking about it, going, we're not on our own. Something's definitely in the water. Tony says, hey Ross, I'm still looking at starting a business involving life coaching and mindset. I'm a bit unsure which direction I want to take it in. Part of me wants to create online content, podcasts, YouTube videos, etc. And then I also like the idea of doing live talks and life coaching. Any tips on starting a business when you have a general idea, but not exactly sure which direction to take it in? My advice, Tony, for anyone wanting to start a business like that, and you might have a few ideas, is to taste as many of those ideas as you can. So think of it as like food, right? You didn't know what your favourite food was until you tasted it. And if you'd have stopped on, I don't know, as a baby, if you'd have just had milk the rest of your life, milk could have been your favourite food, but, then you try things like hot dogs or, whatever it is for you. Ice cream flavours, before you tried chocolate ice cream, maybe strawberry was your favourite flavour, and then you tasted chocolate and were like, wow, that's my favourite flavour. I think in business sometimes you've got to taste as many flavours as you can, mate. So I would do a bit of all of those things, see which resonates with you the most, see which you like the most, and see also which gets the most traction. It might be audio, it might be podcasts. I ripped the audio from this video you're watching now and I put it out on iTunes tomorrow morning. Those listening on the audio experience, shout out to you. You're listening to it right now. So you can also multi-purpose your content as well. You can basically, shoot a video, then rip the audio from it and put that out as well. So you're not actually having to do separate things per platform necessarily. But I would taste as much as you can, because you're not going to know what you want to do until you've tasted quite a few things. And be prepared to fail. We talked about that in the vlog last week with Craig Bramall, an entrepreneur that I met, and he said, listen, when I was first setting up my businesses, and he's a really successful guy now, he said, I knew that, I was going to fail initially. Things weren't going to work straight away. And that's the only way you learn, man. So embrace that as well. He says he definitely wants to do a podcast. I like the idea of bringing others on to share. And that's a great thing to do. I do that a lot as well, where I bring guests on and stuff. It makes your content creation easier because it's not all on you. Other stuff there as well. We're shooting a film in Tenerife last week, and this week it's the Beast from the East, says Jamie. Yeah, I bet the weather's been a bit different. Beast from the East is what they're calling the weather we've got here in the UK at the moment. It's getting better. but last week was pretty bad. Nicola says, is We Rehearse any good? Join, but don't do anything with it. Ooh, I've not heard of We Rehearse, Nicola, at all. So in terms of like, I don't know if that's a line learning app or something like that. There's some great apps for line learning as an actor. Line Learner, very simple title, is a fantastic one I've used many times in the past. There's a guy called David Lawrence as well. He's quite a big actor. He designed something called Rehearsal 2, the app, and that's a great line learning app. If Rehearsal is something like that, but I don't know what is. Or We Rehearse sounds like maybe it's something you hook up with people online and you rehearse together. I don't know. Let us know more about that. It's not something I've checked out. You have to pay for We Rehearse now, says Sharon. I could never get the payment thing set up to accept payments. Oh, this just sounds like something I've been missing out on. I don't know what it is. Let me know. When he said she just saw it last week, it looks good, but she's got no experience with it. Well, if you've got experience with We Rehearse, and if you listen on the audio experience and you've got experience with We Rehearse, get yourself over to the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/ActOnThisTV, and leave some feedback. Let us know what you think about We Rehearse. Steve's had a bad day at work, but ended up winning a bottle of wine, he says. Amazing, Steve. And Nicola says it's based in the US as well. Yeah, I think there's quite a lot of innovation happening stateside. But yeah, in the UK, maybe we just don't seem to innovate as much when it comes to apps and stuff. Obviously, Hollywood is just built for this. It's a ripe market, whereas the UK, all those actors are cynical. No one wants to spend any money on anything, do they? You can buy someone's time to do a reading with you, and you can also offer yours. Okay, that's interesting. So you can get paid to offer your services, I guess, to help read with rehearsals with people. That's a really interesting platform. I don't know how well that's going to work. If it's mainly based in the US, obviously you're going to have a bit of a time difference problem in the UK. You're going to need a lot of UK users on it in order to be able to hook up at appropriate times. But do let me know. Sharon said, yeah, it's a platform for actors to rehearse together. Let us know. Tony Rossi, and Richard Haley, you're our US counterparts today. Let us know what you think on that. So yeah, anyone else got any more for any more? What else has been going on in your life? I've covered Rachel's Oscar win. Oh, I tell you what I'll cover very briefly. This is another app. You've probably seen an explosion. I'm all about like social media. There's been an explosion of promo around an app called Vero, Vero. And this was what was touted. It's been around for quite a while, but it really blew up about 3 or 4 weeks ago in its popularity. And it's touted as the true social network platform in terms of real social networking, in terms of you completely dictate what you see, which friends you see stuff off. It's got a chronological timeline, which people have been shouting out for ages on Instagram and stuff, because now nothing is served to you chronologically. It's not really even on Twitter as well. You'll see posts in a different order. They won't be the latest post. You'll sometimes go in the top of your feed, will be a post from 3 days ago from somewhere else, because Facebook and Instagram likes to pick content out that they think you might have missed, and they'll show you it, and that's quite good. But a lot of people are like, I just want to see a chronological timeline. So it's got that Vero. You can upload videos that are longer than like a minute, but it's got an Instagram kind of layout, so it looks like Instagram. It basically is a mishmash of all the social media platforms and the best parts of the social media platforms, and they put into one. It was supposed to be free for the first 1 million people who signed up. There's now up to 2 weeks ago, not even 1 million has signed up. Looks at it tonight, over 3 million have signed up, but they have said it's still going to be free for the foreseeable future. I still think they're obviously just trying to get masses and masses of traction. Now, it's very, very good, and it's a new platform that if you were looking to build a reputation on, you're going to be first to the market if you get in now, and you're going to have a good chance of doing that. But there's been a shitload of controversy around the CEO of that company, and he's been doing some pretty bad stuff, and I don't know the ins and outs of it, so I don't want to spread anything here I don't know about, but there's been a lot of people who have been boycotting it and then closing their accounts on it because the CEO is like, I don't know what it is he's done apparently, but he's been in charge of companies that have left people like, I don't know, kind of almost like they're abroad, like, almost like kind of like slave-driven kind of companies, not great, and they've not looked after their staff and that kind of stuff. So yeah, let me know if you've joined Vero. I've joined it. I've posted a few things on there, but I don't know the future of it really. But it's definitely something worth checking out. But we'll see what the deal is with the CEO, and whether he remains a CEO or not. Sam says, did an immersive theatre gig at the opening of number 1 Spinning Fields last week. Fun gig. Spinning Fields is a place in Manchester, a beautiful place in Manchester actually. It's one of my favourite parts of town, Sam. Spinning Fields. So I bet that was a decent gig. Immersive theatre is interesting, isn't it? I've not really done any immersive theatre. I've been to see a bit of immersive theatre where you're on the stage, amongst the action. But I've not really done any immersive theatre. I had to do some really embarrassing, like, song and dance thing once when I was in the second year of drama school, and we were made to go and do this thing for Variety, the kids club. Which is a great charity, fantastic charity. It was all up for supporting it, but we had to do this thing where I had to run in and out of these tables in this grand hall at the NEC where, like, really rich businessmen were having a meeting. Not a meeting, like a sit-down meal and an auction, all that sort of stuff. I had to do this, like, singing and dancing dressed as clowns, literally dressed as clowns. Oh, I just realised that sort of stuff wasn't for me at that point. It's one of those things where the only thing it taught me was that, yes, you might think you look stupid whilst you're doing this, but you look even more stupid if you acknowledge the fact that you think you look stupid. So the best thing to do in a situation where you think you look stupid is just to go with it and completely commit, and you don't look as stupid as you would do if you were looking like you knew you looked stupid. If you know what I mean, if that makes sense. I did it at uni. It was fun, says Dawn. Yeah, it's mental, isn't it? And Wendy's had a call back for someone. Matt Hall is here in the house. Matt Hall, that audition we went for. Me and Matt Hall went for an audition for a famous car company. I got penciled for it, Matt. I thought I'd nailed it, mate. They released a pencil. I'm not doing it. So if that's any consolation for you, I don't know if you got it. I didn't get it. I thought I'd got it. Didn't get it. Luckily, I did another commercial casting last week. I've been penciled for that one as well. Whether I'm going to get that one or not, still anybody's game. What drama school did you attend? I attended the Capitol Theatre at Manchester Metropolitan School of Theatre in Manchester. At the time, I graduated in 2005. It was one of only 5 NCDT accredited drama schools in the country, so it was a bitch to get into. It took me 2 years, didn't get in the first time. On average, it was like 2,500 applicants, for 100 places. So it was like 1 in 100. Didn't get in the first year. Took a year out. Worked in a computer game shop. Thought I'd only be there for another year. And stayed there my entire way through uni. Ended up staying there 11 years, basically. So, I stayed in my day job way too long, which is why I'm so passionate these days about getting people out of their shitty day jobs and into creating businesses of their own that will give them the financial freedom to actually, live on their own terms. Sorry to hear that. Good luck with the other issue. And cheers, Matt. I don't know if I'll get it or not, dude, but, we smashed it anyway. I'm sure we both did a great job. And when we see that advert for said car commercial, if those guys aren't great, I'm going to be like, me and Matt could have done that. Richard Hale is a member of Stage 32. He was asking for Stage 32. He's based in Miami. And he said there's a lot of industry professionals on there, and they offer a lot of reasonably priced webinars with industry pros from all over the world. Richard Botto, who runs it, does a great job. Yeah, RB. I'm sure. Does he go RB something on Twitter? RB something. I'm sure he's messaged me on Twitter a couple of times. Maybe I need to have a chat with him, see what if there's any synergy between Acts on this and Stage 32. Every now and again, it loops this live recording and repeats what you say like an echo, but it's like it's reinforcing what you said like a deliberate edit. It's not supposed to do that, Jenna. But yeah, if the app's doing that for you, it depends where you watch. If you're watching on Facebook or Periscope, obviously I'm broadcasting to many different servers here. It's going out on Twitter, it's going out on Periscope, and it's going on Facebook. So sometimes whichever server it's going out to, it can have some issues. But the recording of this will be flawless. If you miss anything, if you go to atsonthis.tv the day after this has gone out live, you'll always be able to watch the recording free of charge, completely perfectly. I would love to hear about how you manage your time between acting, retail, and starting Acts on This. Oh, so going back, Tony, so how I started all this, really hard, mate. Do you know what? Really difficult. So, and I don't have a magic wand to wave here and tell you just do this and this is all going to be fine. So I was working in retail after leaving drama school, and I'd been there a long time. I was kidding myself that putting 30 to 40 hours a week into my retail job was ever going to lead to any kind of success in my acting career, but for some reason I honoured that limit in belief for way too long because every other actor I knew was doing that. Eventually, I was in a situation that actually was like I had a few wake-up calls. You probably all know this. My dad died. I was 24, and the last thing my dad ever said to me was, you look after your mum. And I thought, shit, I can't look after my mum when I'm working for minimum wage in a toy shop. I thought, that's got to change. I also found out I was going blind. That was quite a big wake-up call as well. That's with an eye condition I've got called retinitis pigmentosa. But then, as it happened, I was put in a situation which forced me to leave. I'd been to do a voiceover. Gary, good evening. I'd been to do a voiceover, and I had to ask my boss if I could leave work that day. Literally, like, I'd been in at 10 o'clock. I was doing a 10 till 5 shift, and my voiceover was at 11 o'clock. And I only found out about it in the morning. I said, listen, can I go and do this voiceover, and I'll come back, and I'll add the extra hour on. I'm going to be away after work. She said yes, very reluctantly. My bosses up until that point had been very, very accommodative for me. They've been great, great bosses to work for. Now, I got back, and on the way, just as I got back and I was hanging my coat up, no word of a lie, I get another call from my voiceover agent, and they say, Ross, it was a car commercial I'd just done. They got the price of one of the cars wrong. Could you come and reprice it? You know, basically come and do it again. And I was like, what, now? And they're like, yeah. So I said to Jen, my boss, I was like, I'm so sorry, I've got to go again. Is that all right? And she was like, not really, but like, you know, I guess. Went and did it, came back. I thought it was a wind-up. I absolutely thought this was a wind-up, but I got a call from my agent again saying, literally as I got back to that shop, Ross, they said it was something like £1,000 off any car when you trade your old car in. And the wording should have been £1,000 off selected cars when you trade your old car in. Can you come back and revoice that bit? And I was like, you're actually joking, aren't you? Like, no, we're not. So I said, Jen, I don't believe this. But this job was worth about £3,000, which back then was 3 months' wages for me working in that toy shop. I said, I've got to go and do this again. She was like, no, you're joking. I went, no, I have. And she went, well, this is an ultimatum. If you go, you don't come back. And I had this thing, like, literally on the spot. And I'd been building up actonthis.tv, the website that I run today, in the background whilst working in the shop for about 3 or 4 months before that. So it had gone a fair way. You know, I'd got most of the structure in place. It hadn't launched at that point, though. And I had a decision to make literally on the spot. I left that job and the security of that job. I've never told this story before, I don't think. I left that job, or I stayed in that job, and then I lost the voiceover job, which was 3 months' wages, because that advert for the radio had to go out. It was radio ads, I think, had to go out about 4 p.m. that afternoon. If it wasn't out then they would have to get someone else to voice it. So I thought, wow, I've got 3 months' wages here. I'm going to take the 3 months' wages, walk out the shop, leave my job on the spot, and then I've got 3 months to make this shit work. So that's what I did, and I went all in on finishing actonthis.tv off and then launching it within that 3 months. I didn't just leave with nothing, you know. I left with a structure in place of how I thought I was going to earn money through an online business, but I had no guarantees, Tony, at all, mate. And as Lowry said here, yeah, I just leapt. I literally leapt, but I'd had enough by that point. I'd just had enough, and I'd just seen my dad die at 60 years old. I realised at that point I might have only had 25 years of vision left, literally, before I lost my eyesight. And I was like, you know, what am I doing in my life? What is three, you know, like, well, what was I on? £5.75 an hour, you know, and I've got 3 months' wages if I had to go and do this job. I might as well just, you know, take a chance on those 3 months and something happening. And that's what I did. And I just doubled down and kept working. And then it is difficult. You have that fear about the stability. You stop getting that regular paycheck every month, but then that fear kind of like fuels you, mate. It's like there's no alternative. You know, what else am I going to do? This is it. I've made that decision now and I'm out. It's the best thing I ever did in my life. I wish I'd have done it sooner, but I don't know if I'd have been ready to do it sooner. I feel like, you know, sometimes we can say, oh, if I'd just done that 5 years sooner, I wouldn't have been the person that I was. My dad had still been around. You know, I wouldn't have been as aware of my eyes and that sort of stuff. Dawn says, wow, you have good guts, good on your ass. I don't know, honestly, I felt worn down, Dawn. I felt like I'd had enough. I felt like I was working a real, like, thankless job as well. Customers treated you like shit in that job. People literally would come in and throw computer games at you that were faulty, and they would say things like, that's effed. And I'd be like, whoa, like, at what point do I just look like someone you can say that to? Like, I'm here to serve you, yes, and I want to serve you well, but you're treating me like I'm a piece of shit on your shoe. Not even that. So it didn't do anything for my self-esteem at the time. It was just like, let's go, let's get out of here, and just, there's got to be something more to life. And I knew I needed more money because I thought at that point I needed to support my mum. And that was literally my dad's last words that he ever said to me. So I was like, I've got to do this because kind of owe it the big man. Luckily, and I felt quite guilty about this, but luckily a few months later, a life insurance policy my dad had taken out came through, and we didn't know about it. And he always said to us, oh, when I go, you know, you'll be all right. When I go, oh, you know, as in, he'd wind us up, go, oh, you know, you should want me to go, you'll be rich, all this sort of stuff. And a pretty substantial payment came through to my mum 3 months later, and I thought, oh, and I felt a bit guilty, but I felt so relieved because, like, oh God, like the pressure of me actually having to support my mum and everything, is kind of gone. Which was incredible because I'd have worked anywhere at that point to do that. I genuinely would. I would have given up my dreams of doing acting and stuff for that time just to get financial stability. And when that check came through, it was considerable. It was about 90 grand. And I thought, that's going to support my mum. Like, she can't be daft with it, but that's going to support my mum for for the foreseeable. She can invest that, and that's going to pay her a small income every month, and and that will look after her. And I felt like I'd been given a second chance, mate. I thought for a second what I wanted to do with my life had been taken away from me a bit. I thought, I'm going to have to put all my plans on hold. But then that's come through, and I was like, well, I owe it to my dad, to go all in on this business because I've got the opportunity to do it. And I might not have had that opportunity had he not provided, when he'd left. So I just felt that was a really strong why as well, and a proper motivation to just make this work. And from doing actsonthis.tv, the website I do, I then launched a voiceover company. I don't do that anymore, but that was successful for a while. I then launched Bulletproof Actor, got Master and Monocle now. And it becomes addictive, when you learn how to make money on your own terms whilst giving value to other people and you're impacting people positively. It's like you're getting paid twice. I'm getting paid, getting paid in cash for what I'm doing. I'm also getting paid in emails and tweets that I get from people saying, "Wow, this has just changed my life." So it's like a double whammy, and then and you meet people and you coach people and you get them through shit, and then you see people literally on the world stage. Last night I accepted an Oscar, and ain't my Oscar at all. I played no part in the film whatsoever, but I feel that, a bit of pride there to go, God, you know what? There was one conversation in particular I had with Rachel that could have ended the whole thing. She wouldn't have been doing the film. And I talked her out of doing that thing that she was going to do. And there's a part of me that goes, I don't want any acknowledgement for that at all, but I'm like, wow, you know what? If we hadn't had that conversation, I don't think last night would have happened. This is awesome, Ross. Did you have a time management system in place for working? Just hustle as many hours as I could, Tony. So for me, when I hadn't left that job, when I was still in that shitty job, my shifts would be, sometimes they would either be 9 till 6, and I finish at 6 o'clock, in which case I would work 7:30 till midnight on my own business. Everyone's got that time. And then sometimes I would work 1 till 10, and that's a tricky shift, 1 p.m. till 10 p.m. But I would force myself to get up at 9 o'clock, and I'd at least do a couple of hours plus 45 minutes on the bus on the way into work. And even if that wasn't actual direct work on my business, that might have been, mate, just watching a YouTube tutorial on the bus, something that you can take in, when you're just traveling, you don't have your laptop with you or something like that. It was all about learning. And something I wanted to talk about today here, I've got this down here, is investing in yourself. Because I had an email from someone today who was like, look, I'd love to set up my own side business to support my acting career. She's always getting asked about her style. She's got a very distinct style and she loves fashion. And she's always been asked about, how do you create a style like that? And she wants to do an online course around style and fashion and the confidence that clothes can bring you, etc. And she said to me, listen, I found this course online to teach me how to, market my business and, dominate social media from a real big social media influencer, but it's £750. And that's a lot of money. What's your opinion on it? And I don't know the person who's selling it, so I can't give my opinion on it. But I was like, listen, I had this dilemma 3 or 4 years ago when I was creating Bulletproof Actor. I didn't know how I was going to market it. Had no clue how you market stuff online. I'd winged it to that point. I just didn't know how to do it. And there's a guy called Jeff Walker, and everyone should check out Jeff Walker if you want to learn marketing. He does something called product launch formula. If you've got a product, this applies. If you don't have an actual product, it's pointless. But he shows you how you market a product and launch it. So when I do all my Bulletproof Actor launches and they start like 2 weeks before the product's available, etc., etc. There's a real formula to this, and he taught me that. But the program was $2,000. £2,000 actually, so more than $2,000. And I had the same dilemma this girl is having. Oh, do I invest in myself? And I came to the conclusion that if I didn't hit buy, because I'd done my due diligence on this guy and I knew he was good. And I'm like, if I don't press buy, what I'm doing is I'm betting against myself. I'm saying, you're not good enough to use that course and make that £2,000 back. And I taught myself out of it the first year. The second year, I went for it. And that program has since earned me over £50,000. And it was a £2,000 program, so I've got a 25 times return on that. And I'm always of the opinion now, if you're cheap on your education, you're going to be cheap in life forever. And that's what I try and convince people when they're umming and ahhing about doing Bulletproof Actor with me. I'm like, Rachel did Bulletproof Actor. She just won an Oscar. I'm not saying everyone's going to win an Oscar, but I'm like, if you're not prepared to invest in yourself, then ultimately what you're saying subconsciously, even without necessarily knowing it, is you're actually betting against yourself. You're saying you're not going to win. Don't do that. Don't spend any money trying to become better than you already are. You're going to lose. And I always have to try and convince people, to go all in on themselves. It's time to just go all in on yourself. You literally have nothing to lose. You've got to think, what actually am I going to lose if I don't invest in myself? Because you'll lose a lot more than 750 quid if you keep with that mindset of, am I worth it? Am I worth this much money? You're always going to lose if that's the case. Dana's here. All right, Dana. Dana's a Bulletproof Actor. Says, my dad's death has put things into perspective as well. What is that? Oh, it's Dana, I'm really sorry. Is that recent? It's bad, man. Honest to God, like I empathise so much. Losing a parent is just like, shouldn't happen really, should it? It's awful, but it's just a fact of life. And it's one of the biggest events that can ever happen to you. But you've got to look for the gifts in that. So many gifts in. If my dad had to go at that point, a lot of gifts in that in terms of teaching me, ultimately, really the importance of being here, the importance of your mortality, the importance of doing the right thing, the importance of family above material bullshit, etc. You've got to try and keep that. If this is recent, Dana, you've got to try and keep that awareness that you've got now for as long as you can, because if you're not careful, and I've been guilty of this, like it can go, and then you've got to remind yourself of it. You're like, whoa, I just wish we could keep that awareness, because you start taking things for granted again. Let's have a look. What else have we got on here? I've started to get up to 90 minutes earlier to fit more in my day, Steve says. Awesome, Steve. Honestly, there's a really great terminology for like getting up and doing the hardest thing of the day first, called eating the frog. And that's like, get up, do one of like your biggest tasks of the day first, get it out of the way. It's why I always go to the gym in the morning. Otherwise, it'd be a struggle for me now to go, I've got to stop working and go and work out at 5 o'clock at night, etc. Get up in the morning, get it done at 7, boom, eat the frog, feel great for the rest of the day. 4 years ago, Dana says, 4 years ago, there you go. But I bet you can still, still very conscious of it sometimes, Dana. There's still, my dad's been gone 12 years this year. 2006 he died, 1st of June 2006. It's not a day goes by I don't talk to him, really. To be honest, I've probably more of a relationship with my dad now he's dead than I did when he was alive. It's a little bit ironic, but yeah, I talk to him an awful lot. But there's definitely times where I'm like, oh God, I just wish you were here for this, because like I sometimes think as well, I don't know if anyone else thinks this, but like, say he walked in the door here, I'm like, God, what would I say? I've got so many things to try and explain. Like, oh my God, come and have a look at this, and I've done this and I've done that. It's like, what have you done for the last 12 years? It'd be mental, wouldn't it? Absolutely crazy. But again, gives you perspective then of how far you've come as well, as opposed to looking at how far you've got to go. Look at what you've done in the last 4 years, Dana, man. I'm sure your dad will be really proud. She said, I lost a friend a while ago, suffered from depression like I did, but she took her own life. Massively put things into perspective. Super, super sad, isn't it, when people get into that situation where they think suicide, as I don't know, in my head I'm like, the only thing how I can explain it is like, you must feel like the situation you are in is so unique that no one on the planet can help you with it. Thus, there is no way out, and that's crazy, obviously, because in however many thousand years of man there has been, of course, there's probably no experience that's unique now. Everybody's probably been through that, similar or worse. So I think it's always about talking to people, isn't it? But I think when you put that poker face on and pretend everything's fine, and you say, like we were trying to talk, me, Petch and Sean today, we were trying to talk why our energy was low, and we're going, what is it? Is there something wrong? Are we upset by something? Is it time of year? Is it, the weekend? Have we not slept enough? What is it? You talk it through with each other. It makes things a lot easier, but I think when you don't talk, that's when things can get on top of you, and then you have to pretend to everybody everything's fine, and it isn't. I just think talking, man, is critical. I just learned Tim Ferriss was planning on taking his own life a long time ago. Wow, Tim Ferriss is doing incredibly well now. Tim Ferriss is a bit of a mindset guru, does a great book called 4 Hour Work Week, 4 Hour Body, does a great podcast as well. He apparently has a long blog post about it for anyone suffering. Check out Tim Ferriss if you're feeling a bit low. Search for his blog post. But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, man? I'm sorry to hear that, Steve. Steve says, I nearly did. You just feel like there's no way out unless you die. It's a horrible place to be. Freaking hell, man. We would never know it. You meet Steve now, and he's like the most jokiest, never serious guy, like, in the world. That's what I mean. But you got to make sure that if you're not feeling that, Steve, talk to people, man. Like, always. We're always here. Get in the Facebook group. We're always live on a Monday, Wednesday night. If you want to talk, come and talk. And Wendy says, eat the frog. Yeah, it's a book, actually, but the term eat the frog, you know what? I Googled it the other day. I'm going to tell you where it actually comes from. There is a real meaning behind this. Where does eat the frog come from? What it means to eat the frog. I've got it here because I thought the other day someone asked me this. I said, "Oh yeah, eat the frog. Get up and do the thing." Mark Twain said, "If it's your job to eat a frog, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. And if it's your job to eat 2 frogs, it's best to eat the biggest one first." So it's just theoretical. If you had to eat a frog, the best time of the day was to be in the morning, get it out of the way. If you had to eat 2, eat the biggest one first. So that's what he always says about, you've got to do the hardest task of the day first. Is it French, says Lowry? Don't know. Not sure. But yeah, Mark Twain. So he's the geezer who came up with that. Right, anything else? What else have we got to talk about? It's going quickly tonight, isn't it? We've not got that long left. So Vero, I've covered. Rach at the Oscars, I've covered. Side hustles and investing in yourself, I've covered. The Spotlight vlog giveaway, I've covered. For those who are joining now, just to let you know, right, if you subscribe to my vlog, I'll just bang on about this again for a couple of seconds while people get any more questions in. I do a vlog every week called Watch Ross, and it's behind the scenes of my acting career, my voiceover career, my online business, people I meet. You'll come in the studio with me for voiceovers, you'll come to agent meetings, you'll come to meetings. I'm doing a documentary for the BBC very soon. You'll come to meetings on that. I'll show you behind the scenes of Media City, where I hang out. Lots and lots and lots of stuff. Today we did a whole vlog on Master Monocle, the clothing brand that I'm launching, and kind of how we're super honest on these as well. We started this vlog off today going, we've got no clarity, we've lost our direction, we've no idea where we're bloody going with Master Monocle. Let's spend a whole day working at it, and then we did it whilst drinking a lot of coffee, eating cakes. Petch refused to eat cakes because he wouldn't have any carbs. So that was quite funny, but yeah, and we just film everything. If you subscribe to the vlog and leave a comment on an episode, there's 20 episodes out as I record this. Go to youtube.com/WatchRoss, leave a comment and subscribe. And I'm going to draw a comment at random in April, and the winner of that is going to get 150 quid cash, or their Spotlight subscription paid for. Most people, I'm guessing, are going to go for the 150 quid cash because I think Spotlight might be a couple of quid cheaper, literally only a couple of quid cheaper than 150 quid. Or it wasn't. Last time I paid it was 144. So you're probably just going to want the cash. But if you just want me to pay for your Spotlight subscription, then that's fine as well. I'll do that. Whatever suits you. But that's the vlog. Yeah, youtube.com/WatchRoss. Here's a clip of today's episode. Actually, check it out. Only 60 seconds long. So you've seen what's happened. We have no idea why, but Hippity Hop has a clamped vehicle. And I know there's so many people watching this who are going to have something to teach, who are going to have something that's not acting that they could be making money out of to support their acting and not have to work in a 9 till 5 shitty job. Yeah, call the attendant 0. They don't take the action on it because they feel, I'm an imposter, why would anyone listen to me, I'm not an expert, etc. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Manchester Council, it's pointless. Like I said to you before in the kitchen, I'm like, you only need to be one step ahead of the people you're teaching to be an expert. So we're walking in the freezing cold, but what aren't we doing, Hop? Getting bothered. We're not letting the petty nature of Manchester Council bother us. If you want it, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. Yeah. There you go. That's just a little bit of what's in store. It's a 30-minute episode. That's just 60 seconds of it and just a few clips. So you'll see Sean got clamped. We don't know why he got clamped. Ended up costing him nearly £500 to get unclamped. And yeah, we talk a lot about online business and starting online business with Craig, the guy you see me talking to there. Ultimately getting people to start. Just start. And like I said at the end, if you want something bad enough, you'll find a way. If you don't, you're going to find an excuse. So yeah, check it out. youtube.com/WatchRoss. And subscribe, watch it. Brand new episode got filmed today, going to go out next Monday. Every Monday an episode goes out, and yeah, some of them they're there to entertain, educate, and motivate, and I think they do a good job of that. So do let me know your thoughts. Any tips for leaping? Says Lowry. As in what? Getting out of just taking that leap. Ultimately, do you know what? It's all about perspective, Lowry, for me. And like I say, I don't want it to be for someone that their family member dies or they get that kind of awareness, because that's ultimately was a thing that went, right, you know what, I'm done with this. I think you need to think of yourself, picture yourself literally as a 91-year-old Lowry who's looking back on her life and going, holy shit, like, why I was given this incredible life with this world. I was happened to be, to be born in a developed country. I lived through the most prosperous time human beings have ever experienced in their life. And what did I do? I wanted to do this and I wanted to leap, whatever it is for you. And I didn't. I allowed fear to resonate far louder in my mind than the excitement around the thing I wanted to do. And I didn't leap. I stayed well in my comfort zone. And now there are no second chances. I will go to my grave having never tried. And that's just the reality. Most people don't do this, Lowry, because even, when you get a bit later in life, I'm 35 now. I know there's people on this broadcast, way in there, probably up to, sometimes we have, if John's here, sometimes I think he's 74, 75. He's a bit of a go-getter, though, goes out and gets stuff. He's still got plenty of time at 74. You've got 20 years, say, but there will come a point where you're like 91, and literally you just don't have an opportunity to do anything anymore. The mobility you once had as a human being is no longer there. And you can still be a fit 91-year-old. You're still not going to be, what shape you're in at like 60, 50, 40. You just got to look at what it's going to cost you if you don't leap, ultimately. Don't look at what it's going to cost you if you leap and you fall. Look at what it's going to cost you if you don't leap and you fly. And in this country, the thing is as well, in the UK, and Tony, I don't know if it's like this for you in America, but ultimately, like, you can't really fail in the UK, because even if the absolute shit hits the fan, unless you're in a really dire situation, you get really mixed up in the wrong stuff, there's always a safety net there. This country will house you, will feed you. Yes, you ain't going to get a load of money, but you can't really completely end up rock bottom with absolutely nothing unless you're in real dire straits. I understand why people do that. They get mixed up with a lot of wrong things, or they are dealt some really shit things in life, but most people will never be dealt those. And you can always, for me, leaving that job, I was like, what am I actually going to miss? I can always go and get another shit job. There's loads of them. The Trafford Centre was full of shops. I could have gone and got another job in a shop any day of the week. I couldn't have gone and chased my dreams, forever and actually doing what I want to do. So it just came down to it. Like, I had to just go and do the thing that I wanted to do. But yeah, you've got to look at what you're going to lose if you don't go for it. And you ain't gonna be here forever. You are going to die. We spoke about it. Members of my family's died. Dana's lost a dad. I've lost my dad. Guys I worked out in the gym with last year, I work out with a lot of older people because I go early in the morning. A couple of those are no longer there. And I know there's a couple of there who, like this year, probably won't be there next year. They're still working out, but you can see the frailty in their bodies. And they're amazing people, but that's just the life cycle, isn't it? They're not going to be around forever. Steve says he doesn't age. He's picturing himself at 91. He looks exactly the same. That's fine. You don't want to be sitting on your deathbed wondering what if, says Wendy. No, you just don't. And you certainly won't, Wendy. She says, I certainly won't. Wendy won't. And she's a master of baking cookies as well. But yeah, you've got to just do. Stop worrying about bullshit. Because ultimately, you don't have anything to lose. Most people on here really don't have anything to lose. Bar like time, effort. Rachel won that Oscar last night. There's nothing stopping anyone on here doing that and achieving that. There really isn't. And Rachel won't mind me saying this, and I include myself when I say this as well. There's nothing extraordinary about it. There's nothing extraordinary about me. There's nothing extraordinary about anyone who's having success or anything like that. They're just not allowing fear to rule their situation. That's the only difference. And you'll still feel it. God, will you feel it? But you just go, right, if I'm feeling it, you know what? I'm probably aiming in the right direction. And as long as I'm feeling uncomfortable and I can be comfortable with that, good things are likely to happen. A psychic told me I've got till I'm 37, so best get cracking on. Oh, Bobby, don't know if I believe that, mate, but yeah, get cracking on, dude. 100%. So, Lowry, yeah, whatever it is you want to do, set it up. And Dana says she's going to start her online business soon as well. Well, do let us know how that goes, Dana, as well. Hopefully me and Bobby will get there when we make our feature. Honestly, there's literally, if you do it the right way and you do your research on these films and your script is good enough and you shoot it and promote it the right way, you can have, maybe not everyone's going to get an Oscar nomination or an Oscar win, but you'll go far with it. You'll win festivals. It'll open up other doors for you. You'll meet other people. Rach kind of struck gold on her first film there. It's very, very rare, I think. She's done that before, though, where lightning seems to strike once for that girl. Crazy, like, how that happens. But, it could also strike for you as well. Tony said he turns 30 tomorrow. You're 30 tomorrow, Tony, man. Big 3-0. It's brilliant. Embrace getting older. Everybody on here, embrace getting older. It's a privilege many people lost today. Always remember that. Remind yourself of that. If you wake up tomorrow, pat yourself on the back. A lot of people won't, They didn't make it past today. The people literally who that was it for them today. Maybe they did leave this place and wherever you go on to next. I'm kind of a spiritualist, I guess. I do believe in... I'm an optimist anyway. I do believe you go somewhere else, I would hope. I don't want to think it's all over. But wherever those people have gone, yeah, I hope they've passed without regrets. But, I'm sure a lot of them will have done because that's the human condition. We generally stay safe, don't we? Cheers, Rich. Says, great show. Thanks, Rich. Yeah, we're wrapping up in a second. Bobby says it'll be like Train Spotting where everyone in it goes from unknown to names. That'd be amazing. And Tony says, exactly, I have friends who didn't make it to 30. Yeah, and that's the thing as well. I think about that quite a lot as well, You just need to see kids who've been dealt really shit situations like, there's 4-year-olds today who will have been diagnosed with leukemia, man. And I'm like, what have you done to, don't even deserve that. That's really shit, And like they would do anything to have the life that you've got now, and their parents would do anything to spend the 30 years with them that you've already spent with yours. So like, use those years wisely, man. And the next 30 and the 30 after that. Like I say, your DNA is very, very unique. It'll never be here again once you're dead. Use it wisely. Jenna says, Ross, thanks so much. You totally changed my attitude against acting after watching a few of your videos. My attitude against acting, I kept thinking I can't do it. Kept putting myself off, saying to myself, it's hard and I'm not good enough. Now watching you, I've changed my attitude. I really want to do acting so much. I'm going to get into it. Well, go, Jenna, no alternative, is it? Good for you. Honestly, just go for what you want, At least, time's going to pass anyway. You might as well, right? There's no point in sitting there thinking, oh, what if I'd have done that? The time will pass anyway. It's one thing that none of us can stop. And you are the youngest now you will ever be. You're the youngest now that you'll ever be. And now. That's it, I'm the youngest I'm ever going to be right now. So let's get out there and start doing stuff. So it's been useful, guys. Kind of got a little bit philosophical at the end there, but yeah, do let me know your thoughts. If you listen on the audio experience, please tweet me at ActsOnThisTV, at Ross A. Grant. Let me know what you thought of this. We do these live Q&As like this once a month, first Monday of the month, and then we do a live broadcast every Monday and Wednesday night throughout the month as well. It's just the Q&A falls on the first Monday of the month. So this Wednesday night, we're going to be looking at another chapter of Gary Vee's Crushing It. It's a book all about setting up online businesses. Again, very big on it this month. I've talked about it a lot, but I'm very, very passionate about that. It's changed my life. Would love to see it change yours. Do think about, what you want to create a business around. And if you're struggling with this, just ask yourself, what knowledge have I accumulated over the last 12 months that I would have paid for last 12 months, last year? So if you could have fast-tracked that knowledge you've got over the last year by just paying for it a year ago, would you have paid for it? The answer from all of you is yeah. You're going to know stuff now you would have paid to know last year. That could be the thing you create a product around, a community around, a course around, a social media profile around. You raise your awareness. You can become an influencer in your space, depending on what your niche is. It's a long game. You've got to continue to put time in day after day after day. But ultimately, like I said, that time's going to pass anyway. You might as well. And then when you can leave that shitty job, or you can tell that person like I did who's giving you the ultimatum, you leave and you don't come back, you can walk out going, God, I've done the right thing. Like, yes, I've got to hustle now. But every second you put in is all for you. That's what I love about what I do now. The reason I'm on here at 10 o'clock at night and I could have got in after a whole day vlogging and just collapsed on the settee. The reason I do this is because I'm giving value to all you guys. And then the more value I give you guys and the more awareness of myself I spread, the more people come into the ecosystem. the more people then join the Facebook groups that we run, facebook.com/groups/ActsOnThisTV. More people see my stuff. Maybe some people will buy one of the products that I have, etc. And that's how you feed your success cycle. By putting yourself out there. So every second you're putting into yourself in your own business, you benefit from. Every second you put into someone else's business, you're building someone else's dream. And you don't want to do that for too long because you've got your own dreams to build, haven't you? So thank you. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll catch up with you guys on Wednesday night. I can't see your comments on Facebook now. I'm so sorry. I've gone to a different screen. If you're saying anything on Facebook, appreciate you. And I'll check it out after this. You guys on Twitter and Periscope, you're legends. And everyone who's watching on the replay or listening on the audio experience, thank you so much. I'll be back Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Be there. We'll just be wasting your life doing something else. All right? Catch up with you soon. Bye for now.